we're going to start on the roller. So we shall sit at the end of the roller and lie back down on the roller so that the tailbone and the back of the head are resting on the roller. If you don't have a roller, you can just lie flat on the floor with your knees bent. I'd like you to notice when you just relax on the roller, there's quite a bit of space behind your back between the roller and your lower back, so it's increasing the lumbar curve. I want you to just feel that for a moment. And then I'd like you to engage your inner core and then draw your pubic bone to your belly button and flatten your back all the way down into the roller, coming to a flat back position. Letting that lower back draw down to the roller. Now, if you have a stenosis or a spondylo condition, then you should stay with this flat back every time we're on the roller. Or if your back is just a little vulnerable today or sore, you can keep the flat back. If you're not protecting your back, then feel free to come halfway between those two positions and just find the neutral spine. So use whichever lower back position is better for you. It can be a flat back or a neutral, but I'd like you to not be in the hyperextension that you just come to naturally. So stabilizing that lower back, I'm going to keep the curve either in its neutral or pressed into the floor. And we'll connect with the pelvic floor, feeling the tailbone, the pubic bone, the sit bones drawing towards the center. Feel the wraparound of the belt of the transversus. We're going to get the back ribs reaching down to the mat as well. And we will keep the spine stable as we go into arm lifts. Inhale, bring the arms up to vertical. And then as you exhale, continue to stabilize the position of your spine as you reach your arms back towards the wall behind you. Keep your arms as straight as you can and keep your back ribs down, even if you're just on the floor. Inhale, arms split up to the ceiling. And we're going to exhale into a little head lift, maintaining that back position. Inhale, head down, arms up, and stabilize the spine and the pelvis. Reach the back ribs down towards the roller and reach your arms back. Keep them straight as you reach behind you. Don't let your ribs come up off of the roller. And inhale, arms up to vertical. And then exhale, settle them down at your sides, maintaining that stable pelvis, lower back curve stable. Inhale, arms split up to the ceiling, and stabilize as you reach back with your exhale. Inhale, arms split up, and we go to a little head lift. And inhale, head down, arms up. Let's pause for a moment here and reach the arms up to the ceiling, trying to touch the ceiling with the fingertips, and then slowly dropping the shoulders down and feeling your humeral head sink into the sockets. And then we'll open the arms out wide like a T and pull the front ribs together as you do this. Reach out wide and then float the arms back up towards the ceiling. Continue to stabilize either the neutral or the flat back. And open out to T. And bring it back up. And one more time, open out to T. And let's pause and let the fingertips go down to the floor if that's comfortable. And stretch across the fronts of the armpits, relaxing across the chest, but maintain your stable pelvis. And then we're going to reach the arms up overhead, stretching them behind you. Re-engage in the core, and as you exhale, we're going to come up into a little head lift, keeping the pelvis stable. And with the inhale, we're going to reach the arms up and back, stretching back towards the wall, and then sweep your arms around. And as you exhale, do a head lift with the hands coming down towards the hips. Inhale, head down, arms back, reaching all the way behind you, but keeping the spine stable. And exhale, come up into a little head lift, reaching the hands down towards the hips. One more time. Stretch up and back, stabilize the lower back, and sweep around with the arms. And then we're going to lower the head and go to the alternate like this. If you want a challenge, you could try doing it with your hands off of the floor, or you may just balance your fingertips on the floor lightly. So we're going to gather our belt and then wrap the ribs around, and then float the right foot up off of the mat. And then lower back down. And re-stabilize and float the left foot up. And bring it back down. And again to the right side. And lower back down. So if you're working with a flat back, make sure you keep it flat the whole time. And then the left side. And lower down. Let's try one more time. Lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. Well, I haven't been doing my side kicks very regularly. I can really tell. Okay. Re-engage. Anchor. And we'll lift the right foot up. And flex your foot, extend your leg out, reaching through the heel, and bend the knee, and re-engage and place that foot back down, and we'll lift the left side, trying to stay as still on the roller as possible. Left up, and flex, extend, and bend the knee, and lower back down. And re-engage, we're going to the right side, reach out through the heel, and bend the knee, and re-anchor and lower back down, and over to the left, and reach through the heel, and bend, and lower back down. Last time with the right, come up, flex, extend, bend the knee and keep the knee bent, and then just circle that ankle. Notice what's going on with your pelvis, and reverse, keep your neutral or your flat, and then lower the foot down, and re-engage and take the left up, and flex, extend, reach out through the heel, and bend the knee, and stay there with the knee bent and circle the ankle, and reverse, and then lower the left foot down, and relax. So let's come off over the roller. We'll do a couple of things without it, and we'll resume some roller work. Gonna prepare for our 100. So we're coming down to constructive rest pose. Find your inner core, knit and imprint your ribs. If you'd like to flatten the back, please feel free to do that. And then we'll raise one foot up, and then the other foot up. Palms press down into the mat, lift the head, and then extend the legs. We're going to externally rotate the legs, and then we'll pulse. Exhale for 5 pulses, and inhale for 5. And exhale for 5, and inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale, inhale, one more time, exhale, and inhale, head down, one hand on each knee, flop the knees out wide, and take your hip circles, relax your legs, and reverse. And let's give the knees a hug in. And keeping the back flat, extend the left leg out onto the floor. And then finding a neutral spine, extend the right leg up to the ceiling. Support the back of the leg, anchor yourself, and let's circle the leg 5 times. Keeping the back ribs down, the pelvis steady. And then reverse. And then bend the right knee. Use your left hand to pull onto a gentle twist for a moment. Stretching the right side. And then roll to the back. Hug both knees in. And lower the right foot down onto the floor. Keep your back flat as you hug the left knee to the breastbone and straighten the right leg out onto the floor. And then find your neutral spine and stretch the left leg up to the ceiling. Stabilize, and let's circle the left leg 5 times. Keep those back ribs down. And reverse for 5. And then we bend the left knee. Use your right hand to pull to a twist. Left knee coming towards the floor on the right. And then roll to the back, hug both knees into the chest. And then let's lower the feet. We're going to relax the arms at the sides. Engage the inner core. Knit and imprint the ribs, and we're going to hinge up into a pelvic lift, raising the hips to the ceiling, keeping the spine all in one piece, hinge down, the movement happening in the hip crease, keeping your neutral spine. Exhale, press up to the ceiling, feel the front thighs stretching, and lower back down. You'll appreciate that in a moment, and lift up, and come back down. Okay, we're going to get on the roller again for the abdominal series. Of course, they do the abdominal series without getting on the roller. So we're going to find the spine and pelvis position that is working for you, either a flattened back, entirely flattened, or a neutral spine. Keeping the arms on the floor, please, for this. We'll anchor and lift the right foot up, and then the left foot up. And then we're going to raise the head and go to the single leg stretch, extending one leg and then the other. Of course, if you're on the roller, you can use your hands gently guiding the bending leg. Stable pelvis, bring the back still, the pelvis steady. Chin into the chest, eyes on the thighs, bend the knees. We're going to go to the double leg stretch. Keep those back ribs down and press away with the feet. Imagine you're pushing something away from you with your legs, and then bend. And exhale, push away. And inhale, bend. If you're not on the roller, you're going to start with your hands on your knees, and as your legs extend, your arms go out behind you. Inhale, the knees bend, and the arms will circle back around to meet the knees. Exhale, push the legs away. And inhale, come back in. Exhale, arms and legs away from the center if you're not on the roller. One more time. And we're going to rest, head down, relax with the knees into the chest, relax your shoulders, your neck. And then check your spine position, stabilize your pelvis and your spine. We'll lift the head and go to the single straight leg, one leg up and one leg down. And then make big scissors. If you're not on the roller, you can hold the leg that's up towards the ceiling and increase that hamstring stretch. Now we're going to bring both legs straight up, re-anchor, and then lower both legs down slightly, and bring them back up. If your back is flat, it's really going to restrict the range of motion, so keep that flat back down if you're keeping a flat back. Neutral spine, we don't want the spine to go into an arch. One more time. And then let's lower the head, bend the knees, and lower the feet down one at a time. And then come off of the roller, and we'll do the crisscross without the roller. Set your spine either in a flat back or a neutral, and then float one foot up and then the other. Hands behind the head, open your elbows out wide. Re-engage in your low core, knit your ribs together, and then we're going to bicycle the legs and reach on the diagonal, reaching your armpit over towards the bent knee, opposite armpit towards the bent knee. Make sure your pelvis is still. That's your point of stability. Okay, head down, hug the knees, relax the neck by turning your head slowly from side to side. Okay, we will do some more exercises on the roller and some stretches, but I just discovered that I really need to do some side kicks, so I bet you do too. We're going to lengthen out long on the left side, feet slightly forward of the hips, top hand on the top waist or fingertips on the mat in front of you. We'll find the inner core, take an organ lift, squeeze the inner thighs together as we lift both legs, and let's take top leg up and down 5 times. And then the bottom leg down and up 5 times. And both legs scissor 5 times forward and back. And then back to the center. Squeeze the inner thighs. Lift your top leg a little higher and circle 5 times. And reverse. Then let's squeeze the inner thighs together. Externally rotate both legs and do big wide scissors, top leg up and bottom leg down. Stay externally rotated. Open wide and squeeze together. Back, squeeze together, still externally rotated. 10 little pulses of the heels. And then come to parallel and flex your feet back. Squeeze the toes, point the feet, fan the toes and flex back. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex. Keep your toes open and reach forward, then squeeze the toes and pull back. Open and reach, squeeze and pull back one more time. And then relax the legs down. Keeping your thighs where they are, bend at your knees. Nice and long across the front of the hips. Engage your inner core, lift your organs up, rotate that right leg out in the socket 10 times. Keep your pelvis still, right hip pressing forward gently. We're going to come all the way to 90-degree hip flexion. So bend the knees so that the knees and the feet are at the front of the mat. Relax in your waist, no organ lift. Engage your inner core and roll the right leg out in the socket 10 times, keeping that right hip forward. Keep wrapping your transversus belt around your hips. Relax and go to the halfway position, 45-degree. Engage the inner core. Keep your organ lift relaxed, so we're not emphasizing the obliques here. And then roll the leg out in the socket 10 more times. Okay, we're going to go to the other side. Stretch out long on the right side. Legs are straight and feet slightly forward. Rock your left hip a little forward. Top hand on the top hip or fingertips on the mat in front of you. Engage the inner core. Lift your organs up off the floor and raise the legs. Keep your inner thighs working towards each other. Then top leg up and down 5 times. And bottom leg down and up 5 times. Forward and back, both legs moving. Nice long stretch in the front thigh and the back thigh. Come to the center, squeeze the inner thighs and lift your top leg a little higher and then circle from there. And then reverse for 5. Squeeze the inner thighs, external rotation so the heels are together and big wide scissor, then squeeze together, heels, open and squeeze together. And then come back into the center, stay turned out, 10 little pulses. And then to parallel and flex your feet, squeeze your toes, point your feet, fan your toes and flex back. Squeeze, point, fan, and flex. Squeeze, point, fan, and flex. Keep your toes open and reach, squeeze and pull back. Open and reach and squeeze and pull back one more time. And release the legs down. Keep your front thighs straight and bend at the knees so your feet are behind you. Re-engage your inner core and your organ lift. and roll the left leg out in the socket, being attentive to the left hip staying forward, the pelvis staying still. We're doing 10 repetitions. And relax the belly and bring the legs all the way to 90-degree hip flexion. Roll your left hip forward. Relax the organ lift, but engage your transversus belt and roll the top leg out of the socket again. 10 times. And then to the halfway position. And again, no organ lift, just transversus. And keep your left hip forward as you externally rotate the top leg. And then we're going to come onto the stomach and stretch all the way out long. Arms on in front of you, forehead down on the mat, legs relaxed. Engage your low core, glide your ribs together, press your palms down, and raise the chest and the head, really de-emphasizing the lower back curve. And if you have a stenosis, you can tuck your tail between your legs and try to flatten the back out a little bit. Want to feel your chest open and your upper back work. And then relax. Twice more. Stabilize the pelvis, knit your ribs, and raise your chest and your head. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. And then release. One more time. Steady and lift. Draw the shoulders down the back. And release. Okay, we're going to bring the hips to the heels for a moment. And then we're going to use the roller again. And if you don't have a roller, I'll give you a variation. We're going to be on all fours and with the roller underneath the ankles. So if you don't have the roller, you're going to be on all fours with your toes tucked under. We'll do a slightly different exercise. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to find the inner core, knit the ribs in, and then press into the mat. So if you don't have the roller, you're just going to go up and down, knees on and off the floor a few times. If you have the roller, we're now going to do like a knee stretch. We're going to straighten the legs out and then pull the knees under. Straighten out and pull under. In either case, you want to stabilize the shoulder, keep pushing the floor away with the hands. Make sure that your lower back is comfortable. Let's pause for a moment. Bring the hips back towards the heels. And now if you don't have a roller, you can come into a plank and maintain either a full plank with arms straight or forearm plank, whichever works better for you. In either case, with or without the roller, we're going to use the inner core and pull the ribs in, push the floor away. If you have the roller, you're going to straighten your legs out. And then we're going to do a pike. As we pull the roller in, we're going to raise the hips to the ceiling and then push away and back out into your plank. And pull in and raise your hips to the ceiling and then push out. And lift the hips and push out. One more time. Pull the roller in, lift the hips, and push out. And then bend the knees. And get rid of the roller. Sit on the toes for a moment. Lift the chest. Okay. Now, if you don't have a roller, you can go onto your back and do a figure 4 Piriformis stretch. But if you have the roller, we're going to roll the hips out. And let's see. I'm going to start with the right hip. So you can sit up on the roller and then tilt over onto the right buttock. And you can just do it right here with your knees bent, your feet on the floor. And just find the meaty part of the buttock and roll it out for a few seconds. So if you don't have the roller, you're going to lie on your back, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and hold the back of the left leg. I went walking today on the pavement, which I know both of you do regularly. Wow, it is so different and more difficult on the hips than walking on the trails. Okay, and then we'll go to the other side. So we'll sit up and then roll over onto the meat of your left buttock. So I have my weight back on my left hand. You can come up on your wrist if your fist. If your wrist is bothering you, can come onto your, take a fist and come up onto the fist. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you're doing the figure 4 stretch, of course, you switch the left ankle to the right knee. Okay, now let's stretch the hamstrings. If you don't have the roller, you can lie on your back and stretch your legs up to the ceiling, or you can sit and lean over the legs. But if you have the roller, let's take advantage of it and sit on the roller. Lean back into the hands. I'm going to roll the roller underneath the sit bones, so we're at the very top of the thighs. Engage the core and support the legs up off of the floor, and then roll down the length of the back of the thigh. You want to keep your legs active here. You can even think about pulling your kneecap up towards your hip joint to engage the quadriceps. Let's just really briefly roll up the TFL. We're not going to stick with it. This is the one that's pretty intense. So we roll over to the outside of the right leg. Left foot is in front of the right foot. Again, we have to use the hand to stabilize, so be sure your wrist is okay. You can make a fist if that's better. And then you want to push into the floor so you're not sinking into your shoulder joint. And then roll along the outer hip capsule. If you don't have a roller, you can do this with a tennis ball. Actually, a pair of tennis balls in the sock works a lot more pleasantly than just one. And strictly speaking, we should do this for quite a bit longer, but we're just going to get a taste of it. Let's come up and then switch sides. We're going to roll down onto the outside of the left leg. Put the right foot in the front. Make sure that your left shoulder and hand or wrist are okay. And unweight the bottom leg and roll along that outer thigh. And you can just find a spot and stay there. 30 seconds at least would be good. Okay, and then we'll do one more stretch for the back. If you don't have a roller, you could use a small ball. That works really nicely. Or even a folded blanket would work. So we're going to put your prop behind you and recline onto it. So on the roller, we want the bottoms of the shoulder blades touching the roller. If you have a ball, it's going to go between the shoulder blades. We'll support the head with the hands. Engage the inner core. Knit the ribs. And then lift the hips up off of the floor. And you can roll down to the bottom of your rib cage. And then roll all the way up towards towards the neck as far as it's comfortable. Same thing with the ball. Don't go below the rib cage, but just roll along the whole thoracic spine. And again, you can find a spot that feels good and just stay there and roll back and forth, or keep rolling the whole length. And if you just are using a blanket, you'll just open your chest. And we also can do that on the roller. If you're done massaging, you can take a chest opener, or feel free to keep massaging, it's really good. But if you want to put your hips down, you're going to draw your ribs together and stay supported in the core, and then let the head drop down towards the wall, or the floor behind you. I do think continue to support your head with your hands. It's good here, and breathe. And again, if you're being careful with your lower back, you can tuck your tail even here. And then everybody, find your pelvic floor, wrap your belt around, pull your ribs together, and raise the upper body as far as you can without using your hands. We're just going to pause and hover here for a moment. Then we'll release the hands, and you can use the hands on the roller or the floor or the ball. Push yourself up, and we'll lift the chest, open the breastbone, and pull your hands against your legs and raise your chest, and then let your forehead come down towards the legs and relax in a gentle forward bend. And then sit up, and that'll do it. So next Wednesday I have an appointment. I'm not sure if I'll be back in time. I'll let you know. I'll post something. And the following week I'm teaching out of town, and again, I don't know if I'll be back again. So there may not be a live Wednesday class for a while. But of course, if you like the roller class, do this again, and there are plenty of others to choose from. All right. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.